I got a great question from one of you guys who wrote and asked this. Make a video or series that shows us your entire process of making a video creator's TV video, from script to production to editing. I am most interested in the whole creation of your YouTube vids. Thanks a bunch and keep up the great work, Tim. This process actually evolves and changes over time, but let me introduce you to my producer, TRENA, which is where our process currently starts.
What I do is I take all of Tim's ideas that he has listed in Trello and figure out which video we're gonna do next. I take that video idea and I start researching on YouTube. And what I'm looking for on YouTube is looking at the keywords similar videos are using. I'm also researching what titles they're using and what their thumbnails look like. And then I'm also looking at a viewer to subscriber ratio, because I know that if I can find a video that has more views than subscribers, we've got a good idea. Once I decide what the content's gonna be and a general idea of what the video title is going to be, I create a card for Tim and I write down the questions or the points I want him to cover in that video.
Once TRENA has listed those ideas in Trello, then a few things happen. First of all, we get into a meeting and we just discuss all of them. I want to know what her thoughts were. We script out some of the content, or we bullet point and outline. I'm like, what are you thinking here? What direction should I go with this? What's your feedback about this outline? What are the main points I need to hit? And just make sure that I'm up to speed on the content that she's thinking that video should represent. We write all the notes for that video inside its Trello card, and then I sit down and I shoot it for you, which is what I am doing right now. And then after I'm done shooting it, I will take the footage off of this card and upload it to a shared Dropbox folder that I share with TRENA and my editor, Julia.
Once I can see there's new videos up on Trello, I get the footage off of Dropbox and I start editing. Pretty much all the software that I use is part of the Adobe Creative Cloud. So I'll start with Premiere Pro, where I do the editing, and I'll do motion graphics in After Effects, and then I'll also do additional graphic design in Photoshop and Illustrator. When I get a chance, I'll also use other tools like Adobe Character Animator for our more elaborate motion graphics videos, or I'll add little bits and pieces with external plugins like Plexus or Trapcode Particular. For each video, I do a few editing runs. So on the first run, I go through the entire footage of a video and I get all of the good shots and line them up in sequence. On the second run, I watch the whole sequence that I got from this process, and I start to trim the sequence, and I also add indicators at points where I think graphics or text or any other cutaways or B-roll should go. At this point, I have a pretty good idea of what the video is going to look like, so on the third run, I'm actually adding all the graphics, I'm looking for the B-roll, and as I go along, I keep trimming the video if it's necessary. Once all of this is in place, I watch the whole sequence again. And now I will add some sounds. I'll make sure that the color is right and that the cuts are smooth. And then I'll export the sequence and upload it on frame.io. In the meantime, I'll start designing the thumbnail. So for that, I first go through the entire raw footage of this particular video, and I'll look for shots of Tim where he's either very expressive or he's in the midst of talking or doing some sort of pose. So I'll end up with a few of these screenshots, and then I sit down again, I look at Trello and I think through the video. Sometimes I'll watch bits of the video again and I try to come up with 1 or 2 ideas. So the next step is to look out for Tim's and TRENA's feedback. So if they have a couple of corrections or feedback on things to change, I'm going to do that, and I'll export the video again and we'll look at it on frame.io again and see if it's all right. And usually that takes 1 or 2 runs. And it's the same thing with thumbnails. But once we agreed on everything and once everything is approved, so the video and the thumbnail, I'll also create another version of the video specifically for Facebook. So it has a bit of a different end card that doesn't have any of the features for the YouTube clickable features. And we'll make it a square version as well. And then I'll upload both the video for YouTube and the video for Facebook back on Dropbox in a little folder called From Julia. And that's it.
So once Tim films and Julia edits, I will take that video and upload it to YouTube. I'll also go back and forth with Tim to figure out what the best title is going to be for that video, and we'll generally list about 10 to 15 different title ideas until we decide on the best one for that video. So once we have the title, then I will upload the thumbnail that Julia created, and then I move on to cards. And what I like to do with the cards is I take a look at Tim's average audience retention. And I like to put a card right before his audience generally starts to dip off. So that's around the 2-minute mark. I'll put in a card to a playlist. And I also go through the video to see if Tim mentions any other videos or any other playlists that I can link a card to. After I've got the cards on the video, then I go to the end screen elements. And generally with the end screens, we always use the best for viewer option. And we also link to Tim's free ebook to get some email subscribers. Once all that's done, then it's time to publish the video.
One of my favorite parts about YouTube is interacting with you guys and hearing your stories. And so after the video is published and is live, you guys are jumping on there, leaving comments, and I do my best that same day and the next day to get in there and catch up on as many comments of yours as possible, replying, answering questions, pointing you to other resources, hearing other questions you have, follow-up questions about future videos we should make and things like that. So I really love that part and getting to interact and engage with you guys. Subscribe, and I'll see you guys again on Thursday. Bye.
Once all that's done, then it's time to publish.
Back to you guys.